Hello again everybody, Glitch Reaper here. I'm back for some more Lycanites mobs equipment combos, and I've got an interesting one here for you. Phalanx. Yep, named after the classic Greek combat strategy where they interlock shields and then poke their enemies through it with their long spears. So this one's kind of meant to be a bit of both in and of itself. So it's one spear that does the whole Phalanx thing in and of itself, although I'll probably still be using a shield at some point, because I'll be trying to fight a Naga this time. I'm just in the mood to fight a Naga, so it's going to be the one to get it. Okay. Anyhow, as usual, I'll go over the parts that you need and pretty much where you're going to be hunting to get them, and assembling it and describing what all is going to be able to do. While I won't necessarily be demonstrating all of its properties this time, I will definitely be going with the theme of combat. Although I might be displaying some of its tool properties in combat, because I'm kind of curious if that would work out. Or if I maybe just happen to hit the ground accidentally, because this thing does also count as a pretty impressive pickaxe because of the one of the parts. So yeah. Also, another thing, a couple of notes about this. These are mostly the charges you'll be getting from the items, and all these charges have something that matches the item for leveling them up. So, if you get extras and you want to just focus on something that has certain parts to get them all the way up to level 3, this is pretty much what you're going to be doing, is whenever you sacrifice them, you'll be getting about 4 charges each of the corresponding thing, which will give you a decent chunk of experience. But, however, he seems to have left out the Grew Claw for some reason. I need to bring that to his attention. It still just gives you an Ender Pearl. Seriously, now obviously I also did not do this for the ones that you can craft. All of them can't really level up anyhow, so I mean they are what they are. They're for basically fill-in parts for while you're waiting for something better. But yeah, and again, now I'm going to be going to the point of getting to them, as well as a little bit of news about one of the parts. The thing is, the first thing you'll be needing is the one that needs the news, an int arm. Because it gives you the leaf, darn lips. It gives you the leech ability whenever you hit with it, and that's something that's recently been nerfed. However, it's also kind of a side grade, because now it'll give you life back, and not proportional to the amount of health that you've dealt them in damage, but it'll give you just a certain amount of life per level, and that's regardless of whether or not the weapon even does damage. So, if you thunk them over the head with a scepter that has this part that has like pretty much no damage bonus, you'll still be getting life back. So it's kind of helps the low side more than the high side. So it's kind of in the middle somewhere. Now, as for getting an int arm, remember, whenever you harvest trees, you might fight an int. This is especially more common whenever you harvest a tree using either vanilla axes or with Lycanites equipment that counts as an axe, and preferably on a vanilla tree, but some modded trees are supported. I think it basically works on whether or not they really count as a tree or not, which is kind of weird to think of, that could ever possibly not count right. But that's just kind of my reasoning for how I'm thinking some people aren't finding ints. But it has been a complaint that I've gotten before, is how do you get the int? I keep harvesting trees. I'm thinking, are they harvesting the right tree? Because that could actually be a factor. I just never had issues with finding ints myself. They're always popping out of trees that I'm trying to chop down. Now, another part you'll be needing is, yes, this one supports a pommel. And this is a Pseudorandom Stinger. This will be adding the... I'm having a particularly bad lip moment. This will be adding slowness and or hunger to your target, depending on whether or not they can actually receive those status elements. Also harvests as a hoe and as shears. So, combat tool again. Because of slowness, this will be helping with the keep away aspect. Now, Pseudorandom are found in deserts. They're basically very large scorpions. You'll probably know them when you see them. Think of a very big scorpion that's not quite as big as the Emperor Scorpion, and you get the idea. Also, they're usually kind of brown, but Lycanites mobs could come with different colors, so might be a slightly different scorpion than one of those. You'll need an Astaroth Claw for your head part. This is what's going to make it a pike. So, yes, it's definitely going to be a pole arm, if it's doing the Phalanx formation on its own. This adds the wither effect on your target, and it also lets you shoot Devil Star shots, and it's what makes it a pike. So that's going to be some important factors on this. So yeah, now remember Astaroths, they'll show up not only in the Nether, but they'll also show up in the end. There's a variant form of Astaroth that shows up in the end the most, and they're a little distinct, let's say. But either way, Astaroths will be shooting at you, so yeah, prepare yourself for a projectile war. So good luck with that. At least they drop their claw pretty frequently. Now the Geonox Spear, you'll be getting this, which will be finishing off the whole pike thing, whenever you're mining through minerals. Remember that when it comes down to the two, a Vapula comes from things that break into a different item, like diamond ore turning into a diamond whenever you break it, and Geonox will come out of ores that don't, like iron ore. So it does depend a little bit on which ore you're smacking, and I don't know if that matters whether or not you have Silk Touch. I'm pretty sure if you break a diamond ore with Silk Touch, you'll still get a Vapula after you rather than a Geonock. And iron will probably give you a Geonock even if you have some kind of auto smelt. So it's based on the type of ore that it is and how it normally breaks, not on the situation of you applying something else to it, so remember that. This gives it a bit of knockback, and it also gives you the resistance effect to yourself. This is also the reason why I said it's also going to be an interesting pickaxe, and might wind up being used for landscaping during combat, because it will also work very quickly. Of course, that also may have something to do with the fact that I always go with level 3 parts on these demonstrations, so that could also have something to do with it. So, I'm going to put this together, give it the traditional naming. As I go around, you might see it modeled off a little bit here and there. And I think it kind of blends together as kind of this dark, twisty spear. Gives it a nice, menacing look to say, hey, you, back off. I got a wicked weapon here, and I'm not afraid to use it. So, yeah, and as usual, the one that kind of shows its form the best is probably a display stance from Evilcraft, and preferably the ones on a wall. It sort of works on the ground, but they not quite as well, somehow. It's just the way that it works for me. Remember, the blocks you're going to need to work with these include going through these stages of Equipment Forge. The Lesser Equipment Forge is a crafting table with a wooden axe. You'll need that, plus an iron block to get the greater one, and a diamond block and the greater one to get the Master Forge, which again is the one you pretty much just need for going level 3 and anything below. It's just where you need to be at. Please go for this as quickly as you can. It's worth the diamond block. It really is. Now, you'll also need an equipment fuser to do all the leveling. Remember, that requires a lesser equipment forge, and to surround it with lapis lazuli in the crafting table, so that's 8 pieces, not 1. I just keep that there for a reminder. I say that every time, and with good reason. The visual could throw some people off. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to assemble this properly in the Master Equipment Forge. So, the Int Arm, the Pseudorandom Stinger, the Astaroth Claw, and the Geonox Spear. And of course the traditional renaming of the newly created one. I note this thing has some pretty wicked stats overall, like seriously. I mean, this thing is going to be really painful. And now it may not have the highest knockback of one of my pole arms, but it's still going to be pretty good at knockback too. With 13 damage and 1.8 attack speed, it's going to go pretty much just plain better than a diamond sword. And it also has a little bit of sweep to it, but also note it does not have any kind of summon this time. None of those parts have that, so it's not... Oh, well, I'm sorry, 2.2 attack speed. But anyhow, it's not going to have any of that summon, so the sweep's going to be mostly a combat thing. It's not going to be a summoning thing in combat, because the sweep helps determine the chance of a summon. Although I'm not entirely sure it's quite as directly related as I thought, but it's something like that. Either way, it goes up the better sweep. So just remember that when designing one of these weapons. And now, as I've kind of stated before, it'll have several harvest types. Harvest as a pickaxe, a hoe, and shears. It will grant you a lot of abilities and be able to shoot like crazy. So this thing is going to be quite a weapon. And note that is pretty rapid fire. Yeah, That's going to be intense. So I'm going to go over to the area I was before. See, I could have this in my offhand, but I'm feeling more like going classic true Phalanx and having an actual shield as well. I'll try to see how much I can keep away the Naga without that. I'll keep a little food on hand. Nothing major, just a little ramen. Yeah, going over here. Was there something? Yeah, I remember searching around, never did find that Hydra heart. Next flaming weapon I use is probably going up against another Hydra. So just a thing there. And, you know, this might not be the wisest area to go, because I keep forgetting to fill in or otherwise deal with whatever that underground lava lake is. So never mind, I'm going to another area. Probably a nice out-in-the-open fighting location, or at least close. That could do. I could kind of do it there. I'd like it to be flatter, though. I don't know, that's kind of flat. Where's... I don't want to go that way, I don't want to disturb the... Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fight him here. Because I don't want to disturb the villagers too terribly much. They have enough trouble as it is. Also, let's see if I can maybe, just maybe, do a little combat excavation. Ah, the ramen. Okay, let's do this. Hey, you. You're fighting me. That's it. Toro, Toro. This guy is not feeling like charging. Till he charges the dog. And mostly misses me. Okay, that's it. Oh, that's not really solid. I was gonna landscape the ground too, but it's not as rocky of an area. Smack. Oh, that does have knockback. Although I'm getting more of my shots in than I am getting the knockback. Okay, this thing may have a little too little reach for really hitting this guy. Come on, you. Come over here. I know you're around. There you are. Yeah, it's not having as much reach as I thought. Oh, but it can sure send him packing whenever it hits. Oh, I scared him off with that barrage. Come on here. Of course, I'm not activating the shield since I have this main effect. It's not going to be as phalanxy as I thought it was going to be. I wanted a real, like, true classic Greek formation routine. Maybe I shouldn't have the projectile on as much. I'll think about it. Oh well. Well, I got myself a little something as a consolation prize. But I tried something different. I was trying to do that, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll figure something out. But I was trying. And lizard legs. Did I get that from him, or was that from the tremendous level of smashing that was involved? Getting the idea that was from the tremendous level of smashing that was involved in that the Naga just ran over some poor lizard. Yeah. Like, sorry, lizard. I didn't mean to involve you in this. Oh well. But yeah, maybe if the area had a little more stone, I could have dug a trench. Because, it has a pretty heavy range on that whole digging, well, excavating actually. Because again, it is counting as a pickaxe, so I couldn't really dig the regular way a shovel would. I need a shovel with that type of that type of area, but I don't know. Would a clink size wouldn't really make it a spear though. I wanted it to be a nice pole arm. So it sort of works the way I was wanting it to. It might not be quite the way I was hoping for. Maybe I could have gotten a little extra range out of it or something. Should I hot swap? Because I got range 2 this way. I think a Wendigo antler has a bit more range, but that would only be really a little bit more range. In terms of its reach. I think I should have went with Wendigo. Well, this is version 1.0, but we'll get to 2.0 later. Sometimes I have to have revised editions. That was a combat test. It didn't come out quite as much as I thought. I was able to beat the Naga, but not quite the way I was hoping to. I was able to really keep it range, though, with the blast, though, because, hey, that rapid-fire shot is just awesome. However, I just wasn't able to give him the longer range pokes. I was able to smack him back really far, though. I mean, this thing has serious knockback. And that was on a Naga, so, yeah. I'll probably get back to that idea later. So, I'll try again for Phalanx 2.0. We see. Hey, if at first you don't succeed, go back to the drawing board. Oh well. So, I'll be signing off. Hope to hear from you all later, and bye for now, everybody.